Well, thank you so much for welcoming us again with our career exploration chats. We have the lovely Miss Star Williams. Yay! She is here this evening to share her story as to how she got started on her career path. And she's just here to provide us insight. So without further ado, Miss Star Williams, you have the floor.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you all for having me, just for being a great support system to me as well. So thank you all for having me and being allowed and trusting me to share my journey with your students. So buckle up, get ready for this journey because I am going to take you on not a wild ride, not quite, just a little bit of ride into my path, where I come from, where I'm going, and still learning. So this is a forever learning situation, as I call it. Even in adulthood, we're forever learning. So I started back when I was 17 years old, before I even knew what entrepreneurship was. 17-year-old student walked into a Navy office because my family did not have the money to pay for me to go to college. I didn't have scholarships, unfortunately, but I knew that college was important. I knew that education was important for me. So my journey started in a Navy recruiting office. Walked in, said, hey, how can I get money to go to college? How can you all help me on my journey to finding a career? Not just a job. I wanted to find a career. So I'm not going to make it seem like everything was so easy. I walked in and life was great. I came from an underprivileged neighborhood. I came from a single parent home, and I'm the oldest of 3 kids. So I wanted to be the best that I could be. I wanted to make the right decisions. And at that very moment, part of my journey was joining the United States Navy at the tender age of 17. I had to beg and plead with mom. Hey, can you please sign for me? Because you cannot sign as an adult until you're 18 years old. So my mother had to sign for me because, like I said in the beginning, I came from a single parent home. So I did not have a dad in the home to approve that. So mom bought off. She heard about all of the great things, the college, the travel, the medical, dental, all the great things the military would do for me. And again, I'm going to paint a story. And the story is not always going to be great, but it's the greatness that you think that you're going to have at the end of your journey. Not easy. So just imagine a 17-year-old girl joining the Navy, leaving her neighborhood, born and raised here in South Oak Cliff, leaving her neighborhood for the very first time. And not just the neighborhood like down the street, around the corner, maybe an hour away in Abilene, Austin. I was leaving to get on a plane for the very first time to go to Great Lakes, Illinois. Most people will know Chicago, so not far from Chicago. So first journey, bags packed, to go to Great Lakes, Illinois, to leave everything that I know, everything that I love behind, but I knew it was greatness on my journey. And I told you, it's gonna be a little bit of a ride, and I'm not gonna tell you everything was great, because I have to even go back a little step further. For any of the students, and I only share this when I'm really sharing with my students that are going through challenges. I was challenged. We all have challenges in life. You'll hear me maybe stutter step a little bit, but that's okay. I suffer from dyslexia. I didn't learn that I suffer from dyslexia until I joined the United States Navy. I was one of those students that they just said, hey, put over there, she's having behavioral issues, or I was sent for detention or whatever the case may be, because I was different. I learned different. So it was looked at back in those days. Now I can say that back in those days, it was just looked at as a behavioral issue. But I fought through. School was not easy. School was beyond challenging, but I'll keep using that word greatness. I knew that greatness was somewhere. I just had to figure it out. And I knew that my family loved me. I knew my mom loved me, but she didn't have those tools either to say, there's something wrong with my child and we need to get it diagnosed. So fast forward, struggled through school, barely graduated, but I did it. I did it knowing that there's something great out there for me. This is not going to be where my journey ends, just graduating high school. I knew that was not where my journey ended. So fast forward back to, and sometimes it's a struggle even for me as an adult to go back there, but I know there are students who are just like me saying, I'm different. Is this the path that I should be on? And they're questioning their every move because their life, their journey, their education, the way they learn, the way they think does not look like everybody else. But that's okay. So here I am, 17 years old, Great Lakes, looking around, first time ever leaving my home. And that's where my journey begins. It began with a whole lot of shouting, whole lot of yelling, and a whole lot of understanding of practice and patience, learning that number one, that you're not going to get anything overnight. That was one of my first lessons that I learned. This is something new for you. You're not going to master it overnight. You're going to be challenged. You've been pulled from a situation. Now you're in a new situation, but you said on your journey, you're looking for greatness. So along the way, I know, because now that I'm here, the Navy prepared me for greatness. Through every challenge, through everything that I had to endure, they were the first ones to diagnose me with dyslexia. They were the first ones to help me understand where my challenges were, because they wanted me to pull that greatness from the inside of me and say, okay, how can we work with this? How can we work with you because we see something on the inside of you? Oftentimes I wouldn't read out loud. Oftentimes I was told that I would never even do this, be able to hold a full public speech. And I've been doing this for years. So all of the things that I was told that I could not do, I've mastered. And I can say that and apply myself, I've mastered with the help of the Navy. And as a Navy, all peaches and cream and everything is great? Absolutely not. It comes with its challenges. Number one, the challenge was leaving home, starting a new journey in a completely different place. Chicago may not be that far for some, but it was a long way for me. Now, fast forward through my career, through my journey, when I joined, I had no clue of what I wanted to do. Navy said, okay, we're gonna put you in this, as they call it. It's an undesignated, meaning you don't have a job. You're just kind of here to figure it out. So at 17 years old, they allowed me to figure it out. Again, was it easy? Absolutely not. But I had to figure it out. I knew that greatness was inside. So as I kind of went along the next couple of years, traveling, being in places that I had just read about in history books, like Pisa, Greece, Spain, that I would have never imagined at 17, 18, and 19, being afforded that opportunity to not only travel, start a career, and also start considering education. Because honestly, I did not see beyond me. I did not see beyond high school. It took a team of people to help polish me. Just like here, champions, it took a team of people to say, you have some greatness inside and we're gonna keep working at it. So we worked at it. I failed lots of tests because I was dyslexic. They helped me get through that. And I can say today that the score, and to get you to understand, it's just like taking the SAT or ACT to get into college. You have to get certain scores to get certain jobs in the military. And I was determined to not get, for lack of better words, and all military people have great jobs, but the job that I did not want, the jobs that fit the criteria of my score. So I worked hard for 2 years, and fast forward, I became an IT, information systems technician, which required lots of math, lots of reading, that I almost gave up on myself, but the team of people that were behind me and pushing me in more ways than one, that were pushing me to greatness. So I spent the last 17, 18 years of my career as an IT. And won't go into the nitty and gritty, but traveling, getting my certifications, getting a degree. I got my first degree from University of Maryland, my computer studies degree. just doing things that I never thought that a young lady from South Oak Cliff that had dyslexia, that came from every negative demographic. It's like, I'm here and I'm actually making it. I'm not only surviving, I'm thriving. So what more, U.S. Navy, do you have for me? So all of the traditional things of a career that you do as an IT, getting my degree. I got my first degree in computer studies, got my second degree in cybersecurity, which was challenging again. And then moving forward, it was time for retirement. And I had to think about, what do you want to do when you grow up? Yes, I asked myself that nearly 20 years later. What do you want to do when you grow up? Because as we were chatting, this is like forever learning. You want to always be learning something new, whether it's in your craft or something else. Because I always knew that all the people that pushed me, someone was behind me looking at me be pushed, be led, and be motivated. So for me to do all of those things, someone else behind me I was carrying that person and not even knowing. And I say that because I always tell my youth, someone's always watching. So you always want to present your best self, because someone who may not be as strong as you may do the wrong thing if they see you doing the wrong thing. So I've always championed myself, always challenged myself when someone gives something to me to always reach back to give it to someone else. And that's me doing the best thing that I can do for me. And then that's in turn helping someone else. So I say all that to say, sitting down, thinking about, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? So I came back home to visit, and I kind of looked around my neighborhood 18, 20 years later. I was about at my 18-year mark. And I said, man, so many things kind of still look the same. Neighborhoods look the same. I saw so many of my friends that I had graduated high school with, kind of stuck in that circle of life, motherhood, marriage, children, still trying to figure out what do they want to also do when they grow up. So that was my journey to entrepreneurship. Had no clue of what entrepreneurship was, but I knew that I wanted to create something for others that they were able to create something for themselves. That was my very first thought. How can you create something that others can also be empowered and motivated to create? So that's when I said, okay, we're going to work on this plan. We're going to work on understanding what entrepreneurship is. And I created my consulting company called Power Forward Woman. First question everyone always asks, a power forward woman? I'm glad you asked. My great Mavericks. I love basketball. And I always say that, yes, I love basketball. I am a tomboy at heart. And the power forward is the least that they're overlooked. And I apply so many things in life to everything that I do, to all of my branding. And they're appreciated, but they are not as looked at as some of the other teammates. So Power Forward, they do so many great things. So I decided to call it Power Forward. And I was wanting to work with women. First thought, I wanted to work with women that looked like me, that were getting ready to transition, that wanted something new, that had creativity here, but didn't know how to get it out. So my consulting company, we do branding, marketing, advertising, and things like that. And it is all about bringing jobs back to my community. And I've seen so many amazing businesses started that brought business right back to our community. They didn't take it outside. They start building businesses right in our community. So I did that for a few years. I kind of tried to change hats. I would come back and forth between the Navy and Power Forward Woman. And the Navy was kind of like, are you breaking up with us? Are you leaving us? Are you leaving us at 20? Because I really started to transition. It was, my uniform was not my traditional uniform. They would see me traveling more. They would see me speaking more and working with different communities. They were watching, but they were happy for me. So to have a team of people that they want you to say, but they were happy with my transition. They saw that I was kind of outgrowing the military at that time. And how can I forget to go, for those that are considering joining the military, and especially those young ladies? Yes, there are women in the military. We wear our hair the way we want to, but it is uniform. There is structure. There are so many things that in any job that has structure, you have to abide by certain rules. So I don't want to, I would be remiss if I did not say that I was the youngest female chief that made chief, the highest enlisted rank before I retired from the Navy. So that was one of my highest accolades before I left the military. So as a female, as an African-American female, all those things, Black and brown, we hear it all the time. You can do it. We are amazing. There are so many things that we can accomplish. And I try not to be the first, say the first or the youngest, but sometimes you have to give props where it is. Coming from, sitting around a big board of, 18 to 20, 40 to 60-year-old white males, and it felt really good to be sitting there at the table making decisions, at my age. So to retire at 37, the highest enlisted rank, and to leave fully intact, my mind, my mental in order. I'm super proud of the path that I took, but by no means was it easy. By no means. Had many challenges, but it was definitely worth it. To leave with 2 degrees, to be able to retire and have educational benefits for literally the rest of my life. I also graduated from UNT Dallas after I retired with my public leadership degree. That continuous learning. I want to, someone's always looking. My kids are always looking. The women that I lead are always looking. So if I'm not doing it and I'm not taking that baton to, pass it forward, because some of them are going to even go past me. And that's my goal, is to keep pushing. It's enough out there for all of us. That's a whole nother talk, but definitely continuing to, pass that baton, whether it's someone coming from behind me. I wish I could run track. That was one of my favorite sports, but was not for me. I can explain it, but I applaud those that do. But that, not even looking back, knowing that motion to be great, that motion to have greatness in you and want to pass it to someone else, that speaks to who I am. So retiring from the military, starting my consulting business before I retired, kind of breaking up with the Navy, it was hard. It was a hard goodbye, but we did it. They really helped push me to where I am today. Then starting the consulting company, I started that in 2013 and I retired in 2015. Then I got this wild idea again, because I still saw not only the same things when it came to jobs for adults and creativity for Black and brown women, busting those doors open and, living out those dreams and all, everything that they want to do. I was seeing the kids struggle. I was seeing the kids that look just like me, dropping out of every negative statistic, dropping out of high school, pregnancies, prison, everything that I, in so many words, ran away from because I didn't want to be part of that statistic. So now that I have my career, now that I have all these positive reinforcements behind me, I have to bring it back to my community, to the kids that are growing up to be those adults. So in 2015, I started my nonprofit organization called Stars United Global Outreach. And the whole meaning behind that is really getting our kids together, getting them united, understanding that they have greatness inside, understanding that you do not have to struggle, that you can thrive and not survive, getting them to see that they are just amazing human beings and they can do anything that they want to do regardless of what their demographic is, regardless of where they come from. So showing them true stories, storytelling is powerful. And I really, really admire everything that you all are doing. Monica coming on and telling them your story. If they don't hear other stories of people that are doing great things, they don't see it in our communities. So I started the nonprofit organization. We focus on life skills, leadership, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy, and it's called the Blueprint for Success. So we are currently, we're thriving in that now, and it's really all about the circle of life. Everything that you do, what are you giving back? It could be something super small, but what are you giving back? And I always believe you get one opportunity to make your best impression. And I'm talking directly to the students. You get one opportunity to make your best impression. And many of these adults are there to help you. Many of these adults are, they want to share everything that they have to give to you to make, help make you successful, because you can only make that success. We can only encourage you, give you the tools, the resources to thrive. But it's really up to you to, put those shoes on and keep moving forward. But that's kind of my journey, starting at the age of 17 with the military and creating two brands, two thriving brands at that. I kind of jumped into it, but everything I did with support. I had a team, I had a tribe of people that were there to champion me on and push me in the right direction. So it's kind of like, it's only befitting for me to continue to do the same and not to feel like I have to. It's a want to, it's a desire. I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to, when I hear my students and I hear my clients say, just a simple thank you for helping me bring out, that creativity. Because that's kind of going back to my roots. That's who I was. I was this creative child that just didn't know how to bring it out. And it took some amazing people to help me identify those passion points, those strong points, and then those weak points. You don't want to hear where you're weak or where you struggle, but someone had to tell me that. And my mom loved me so much. You just don't want to tell your child, on the outside looking in, that hey, you're different. We can't figure out what's going on. So yeah, love got me to the end. Support got me to where I am. Just amazing people, and you gotta lean on them when you can. I'm really hoping that helps someone. But that's my journey. One day I'll take you all on the wild ride. No, but it was amazing. Nothing that you ever do in life is going to be easy. There are some people who are born with, as we call, a silver spoon. If you are not, how do you find that silver spoon? How do you polish up? How do you polish up and make it your own? My grandmother used to say, hey, I know life is not easy, but find some polish up that silver spoon. You're not born with it, but how do you create it? How do you, polish it up, look into that spoon and say, okay, I get it. Took a little work, took a little arm, took a few muscles to shine it up, but I really believe that every child, no matter where you come from, what your demographic is, you got it. We got you. We want to help you.
First of all, I just want to say I was over here in tears listening to this story. I'm very sensitive, but no, seriously, like your story, your background, how you got started, at the age, going to the Navy, being an entrepreneur, getting degrees, but definitely speaking to those challenges. That is just the transparency that we need our youth to hear. Because I feel our youth sometimes feel as if, we don't understand, or, this is so much for me. I know you wouldn't have a clue as to what I've gone through. And when you're just authentic and you're able to be truthful and you're able to tell them it was not easy, but I didn't give up. I had people pushing me, as well as myself, to push me to want to get the greatness of what life has to offer. And hearing your story, having Monica speak, and being, of course, women of color, the Black and brown, is very important that they see what we're able to provide. Because for so many years, and we know it, there's been so many things against us. And being able to have someone showcase what they've gone through, what they've experienced. And there's another side to it. It's just not sticking there, but there's another side to it. It's just amazing. And so for you to come and share your story with us, as well as those who will see this video, it is very, very appreciated, as well as insightful. And I even learned something, even though you're just sharing it. I mean, this is what it's about, the continuous of learning, as you stated. And that is what we want to bring to our students as well. Like, it doesn't stop. You can continue to keep on. Like you said, what I want to do when I grow up, I am 33. I still say that as well. Like, it never stopped. You can go into many different things, you know, and you have the idea. If you have the idea, there's a start. That means you've already seen it. And so just hearing your story is definitely just enlightened me, and definitely made me think on behalf of where I actually started, who I was in high school. I tell my students all the time, I didn't challenge myself, so I did the bare minimum. None of my teachers challenged me either. I have student loans. Had I did better, I wouldn't have had those loans, but I had them. I got my degrees, but it could have been so much better. So it's a learning along the way, as well as making better decisions too. Yep. Listening. When someone is providing the advice, listen. Please listen, because I want you to do better. I've never been that person like, oh, you have to get it on your own. If I can prevent you going through what I went through, and you can make a better decision, please do it.
I just have to say that you said it perfectly, but that's the part that I want to make sure that nobody has to. But we say that in the military, there's no reason. If I've already been through the trenches, I've already been there, the blueprint is already laid. Why will I not give you the secret sauce? It's Correct. Up to you. Once I give it to you, now you can't keep running back to Miss Star like, how do I do this? How do I fix it?
Right.
I've given you the blueprint. Let's work this together. But there is no reason why we should not be reaching back saying, okay, this was my path. This is how I did it. This is where I bumped my head several times.
Right.
Let's not do that. Let's help prevent that. So it's up to them to really put those shoes on and walk in them, because we can't walk in them for them, but we can definitely continue to guide them and show them along the way where we made those mistakes, and being transparent. It's hard. You know, when I tell people about my challenges, you know, it's hard. It brings back those memories, but it is a must. It's must. I believe in storytelling. I truly do, because it's got something you say is someone's going to say, I didn't know that. So if she did it, to me, it's a compliment. If she did it, I know I can do it. Absolutely, you can. And you can even go further, faster, longer. That I just love it. But thank you for saying that. That's something that I meant to say as well, is that we definitely just as a culture, as a community, do better at, oh, you're gonna have to learn the hard way. No, they should not.
No,
they should not, because I know how that felt when I had to learn the hard way and someone had the answer. So
yeah, definitely. We do have 6 minutes left. So Star, Monica, if you would love to provide any insight, ask any questions, feel free to do it at this time for the lovely Miss Star Williams.
Thank you, Star, so much for sharing your story. And, you know, I love to take notes, and a couple of things that you said that I think are really important for me, again, to even hear is that even though there are challenges, you continue to rise above them and set your horizons on greatness. And I love that idea of just continuing, because as much as we're forever learning, there are going to be forever challenges too, right? And so it's being resourceful and leaning on those around you, and, you know, letting other people help you the same way that you're helping others. So I think that you had a lot of wisdom in your story and experience to share that I'm really grateful for. So thank you.
See, you all are saying it better than me. Resourcefulness. Absolutely. See, are y'all trying to set me up? Is this thing being recorded? Yes, resourcefulness. Oh my God. So not allowing them to get it on their own, and then showing them all of these resources, utilize them, ask, always seek knowledge. That was throughout my entire military career. I'm constantly asking questions. Well, If my score is not good enough here, what can I do? Show me what I can do to obtain this. Then when you tell me you can't, I'm looking to someone else. Well, they said I couldn't, but I saw this person that did. Can you show me? Constantly asking questions and never being afraid of the no. It's like, oh, okay. And I'm military. I have lots of acronyms. I did not kill you with acronyms. You say no, next opportunity. I'm constantly. They'll say, Star just asked me the same question. Yep, I sure did. I sure did, because I didn't quite, wasn't 100% believable that I cannot do this, because I know I've seen it done before. It's never been done before. Okay. Let's try it a different way. But resourcefulness, absolutely. There's a ton out there. And now with Google and everything else, the answer is there. But it's leaning on you, that team, your advocates, your tribe, those people that are really going to help pull that out of you.
Monica, did you have anything to share for the lovely Miss Star?
Yes, I just want to thank you so much for sharing, you know, things that come to mind, and people to understand that, you know what, you can have a very fruitful career and going to the military, but also kind of have that second act after. And it's not impossible for you to adapt and pivot and kind of enter back into civilian life, and that can certainly be something that people need to not maybe be concerned about, and that it's still a possibility. The one thing that I was curious about, you having two really thriving businesses, and a lot of the resources that you have in both of those, I think about even some of the students like that we champion, right? They could certainly be coming from some of those same communities that we grew up in, and maybe didn't think much of ourselves because of it, and have siblings too, but also parents, right? Because generationally underrepresented groups, they can maybe not have resources. Is that something that maybe you could share, or is it there opportunities in terms of
absolutely
they could participate
absolutely
in like that? Because you know, we like to, you know, again, I think exactly that word, being resourceful, right? That's where it starts for you to have access to those resources to maybe, you know, save the trajectory of their life and their career and where they go.
Yeah, and I'm definitely partnered with Big Thought and Dallas City of Learning with all of my programs for the youth for my nonprofit organization. And I'll send the information to Portia. I don't know, can I share it for my consulting? So for my consulting, it's Power for a Woman. I typically only work with women. I primarily work with veterans, but I work with anyone. That's just my brand, is working with women. I want to see women thrive in everything that they do, because I've been there. I've been at the table where, you know, 20 men and it's only 2 of us, you know, one white woman, 1 Black woman. You know, we fit that, you know, with the check in the box. I still know that I worked hard for it, but you know, it was a tough climb to that top to even get there. But yes, I definitely would love to help any adult women and men and children. That's what I'm here to do, is support. But you can find me on Dallas City of Learning. Anything Big Thought has, I'm like open the door, I'm here. I'm forever learning, continuous learning. Every time I go to one of their training, I learn something new, not only about my nonprofit business, I learned something about my for-profit business, which in turn I learned something about me. I'm like, oh, you got some work to do, Star. Like, thanks, Big Thought, for shining the light on me. I got some homework to do, but yes, ma'am, that's me.
Well, we definitely appreciate having you. I know this video is probably about to cut off, but thank you so much, Star. It was wonderful. It was insightful. We're just looking forward to all of the great things that we know that you're going to bring to the initiative and share, and the great things that we're going to continue to do with Promise Champions. So be on the lookout for that. And tonight was awesome. Thank you so much again. Thank you, ladies. Wonderful job. Wonderful job. So you all take care. and have a good evening.
You all as well.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.